Films you should watch before Deadpool and Wolverine. Some people says you have to watch every films Marvel ever produced. But the answer is yes and no. Yes, because if you have severe problem with OCD. If you are new to MCU, then also yes. But I don't think from this one film people jump into the MCU and watch every films. If yes, congratulations, you are a prophet. The answer is also no, because Marvel's phase 1, 2 and 3 and 4 was like a module. And from phase 5 they have opened the new thing which is multiverse. So you just needed to watch the film which talk about multiverse. From the trailer it is indeed known that the Wolverine we saw in the movie is not the Wolverine we have known.
Our Wolverine doesn't wear the yellow suit yet.
This Wolverine is from another multiverse. So the MCU and Fox Studio X-Men is may or may not be happening at the same time, but in the different universe. That is also kind of obvious, you know. The question was which films we should watch before Deadpool and Wolverine. There is 3 ways to watch films. When we talk about X-Men, the Fox Studio simply messed it up big time. I will tell you why. If you are planning to watch X-Men before Deadpool, you are on right place. I will divide it into 3 categories. One is the OG category, 2 is X-Men stories only, third one is the easy way just to watch, refresh the stories. Let us move on to the order. Story-wise X-Men. Many says that the starting is the X-Men First Class, but it is not since the Fox Studio messed it up. First you should watch X-Men Origin Wolverine, actually happening way before the X-Men First Class and X-Men 1. But they messed it up the end credit scene by introducing the Professor. Since it is happening way before the reboot, they thought this is it. He is the Professor we wanted. The story-wise actually the second one is the First Class. In this they are mainly focusing on
Origin story of X-Men's original gang.
Then X-Men 1, 2 and 3, then the shit happens. They rebooted the X-Men totally with the film X-Men Days and Future Past, and they typically erased X-Men 1, 2 and 3. So there is no X-Men 1, 2 and 3, which are the OG X-Men. So now there is only X-Men First Class exist. Since they erased the X-Men 1, 2 and 3 and Days and Future Past, there is a reboot version of the X-Men.
X-Men Apocalypse
and X-Men Dark Phoenix. In the X-Men Apocalypse, they talk about the origin story of Storm. You know, the OG X-Men fans doesn't like the X-Men rebooted version because they basically recasted everyone. But there is a huge chunk of years different from X-Men Origin and the reboot. So people are actually not fond of this reboot. They basically kind of hate it. In my opinion, eventually they grew on you. Then come the second reason Fox Studio have messed it up. Why? Because in Wolverine 1 and 2 they have actually talked about Deadpool's character. In the Deadpool 1 first half, the Deadpool is not yet the Deadpool. Deadpool is just a character, you know, martial arts hero or something like that. The Deadpool story is actually in between the Wolverine 1 and Wolverine 2. And in the Wolverine 2 they have operated into Deadpool, the evil version.
It's just like introducing Peter Parker in Civil War, then gave a standalone movie to Spider-Man.
These Deadpools are not the same. I really thought that. Many people really thought that the Deadpool we saw in the movies are totally different from the Deadpool they have introduced in the X-Men.
We got the Deadpool standalone movie just because of the great Ryan.
He begged the studios and everyone just to create the Deadpool, and he's waited way more to enter into the great MCU universe, and finally it is happening. I keep saying that the Fox Studio messed it up because in Deadpool 2 they have actually talking about the Logan's death with a small toy. But when we take the chronological order or the year that is happening, it doesn't happen yet. The Logan's death. It is actually happening way after the Deadpool 2. You know, all the X-Men characters are actually dead. But in the Deadpool 2, they're actually saying that there is and everyone, the X-Men community is there, but they cannot show them in the movies because they don't have that much of budget to introduce these characters. So they basically do it in their own way in Deadpool. But the Deadpool is very, very good film and everyone enjoyed it. After the Deadpool, you should watch the X-Men New Mutants. Many people say that the New Mutants is a very shitty movie.
They didn't got the good reviews.
Honestly, this movie is a new take on the X-Men movies, you know, more horror kind of movies, you know, mind-flicking movies. It's kind of different take on the X-Men. If you are in the right mind to watch this movie, you'll really enjoy the delusion, the illusion these characters are shown in X-Men New Mutants.
Last but not least, the Logan.
This is the best Fox Studio movie they have ever made with these characters. In Logan, every X-Men characters are dead because the professor lose control. And it is happening maybe in 2030s or 2040, something like that, in the future.
And they smoothly transitioned from the OG characters to the new one without us hating the young ones.
Ironheart is actually receiving a lot of hate because
They're snatching the greatness of the great characters.
people expected the boy in the Iron Man 3 to be the new Iron Man. But here comes everything happening in the Hollywood and they casted a female. I'm not being a male chauvinist. I'm just in love with the MCU universe and the way they treated the movies are very different nowadays. Hope it will change from the Deadpool and Wolverine. This is the first category. If you really wanted to feel the OG feel, here is the list. This is basically the releasing order of the movie with just a few differences.
If you are a busy person, actually you don't need to watch X-Men 1, X-Men 2, X-Men 3 and X-Men Days of Future Past. Here is the list for you.
Because these films are actually erased. Also, this is a side of the X-Men and Deadpool, but there is also a side of Ant-Man in those movies. So you really needed to watch the Phase 5 movies in the MCU just to understand what is happening with the multiverse and every other things are happening in the MCU. So this is the list you should watch before Deadpool and Wolverine. Like every fan, I'm also excited to watch the Wolverine and Deadpool because of the Ryan Reynolds. He's actually have the power. They both have great chemistry. You know, the Ryan Reynolds and the Hugh Jackman. They both are the sweet boys in the Hollywood. You know, their funny combination and chemistry is very good and amazing.
We didn't get enough of it on the screen yet.
But we are gonna get that combo in the great MCU, you know. So I guess the Ryan's vibrance and Hugh chemistry is gonna give a boost to the dead MCU. Yes, dead MCU. Hope they will give you a great Christmas gift. About the downfall of the MCU and what happened to the MCU, what happened to the essence of the MCU, I will explain in the next video. Like, share and subscribe and keep on watching. Little hearts and love you 5000.